I was on up to 1,000 milligrams of morphine a day. I was even on heroin. What I do now is I actually work with people to help them either become pain-free or help them learn how to live with pain.
What if your life shattered in an instant? Your spine crushed in 3 places, the pain so unbearable that doctors prescribed 1,000 milligrams of morphine a day just to keep you functioning. This was Jamie Mentzer's harsh reality after 3 devastating car accidents and a traumatic horse injury. Spiraling into opioid addiction, Jamie was told he'd never live a pain-free life. But against all odds, he defied the impossible. In this gripping episode, Jamie shares his harrowing journey from opioid dependence to becoming a groundbreaking figure in natural healing. How did he escape the grips of Big Pharma and rebuild his life using holistic medicine? And what was the surprising discovery that led him to launch Bioflow, a revolutionary approach to pain relief and healing? Stay tuned because the answer could change everything you think and know about overcoming chronic pain. And it's not what you'd expect. Hey everyone, this is Rob. Thanks for joining another episode of the I Am Pain-Free podcast. We got an exciting one today. I have Jamie Mentzer here with us, and it's really fun what the conversation we've had so far. I was like, you know what, let's just get this thing recorded because everything we're talking about is we've got a lot in common and a lot of fun things. I know this is gonna be a great conversation. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing amazing. I'm excited too. Just talking to you at the beginning, our teams connected us together, and I was excited when we first started talking to find that we have similar stories.
Yeah.
Both been injured, and yeah, I'm excited to hear more about what brought you here and how I got here too.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Yep. So a lot of people know my story, and if not, we can get into it a little bit. But it's very interesting. Respect when we were talking, you're like, "Oh yeah, I just got thrown off a horse," and "Oh yeah, I got hit by a car." What the heck is going on? This guy. And then the power of threes. We're gonna have to definitely talk about the power of threes here in a minute. But why don't you just explain a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then maybe go back a little bit and how you got to where you are today. How's that sound?
Sure. Sounds awesome. Thanks. Yeah. What I do now is I actually work with people to help them either become pain-free or help them learn how to live with pain, because some people like myself, I don't know if I'll ever be pain-free. I even have, usually I can tell how much pain I'm in by what my heart rate and blood pressure.
Wow.
And that's where, in fact, I went to the dentist just the other day, and they do blood pressure before they just even do a cleaning. And she took my blood pressure, and it was like 150 over 110 or 120. And she was like, "Oh, wow." She's, "I don't think I can work on you. Let me go check. Hold on. Let me go ask the doctor." And then, or she goes, "Why don't you meditate first a little bit?" Because she knew that's what I normally do. I don't use pain medicine when they work on. And so they know that I just normally meditate, and because I hadn't gotten it done yet. And so I went, my phone wasn't charging, so I wouldn't got that done. By the time she got back, I hadn't gotten any meditation done. So she goes to take the blood pressure, and now it's 170 over 125. And she's like, "No, I can't do it now." She's like, "Let me go talk to the doctor and see what she even wants me to do." Because they know we live in 2 places. So we're going to be leaving soon. And she goes, and in the meantime, I'd already, the first time, gotten the charger, and so I had it plugged in. Now I had the thing turned on and got my meditation in. She's gone for just a couple minutes, and I was able to also, while that was happening, I found out that I was like, raise my awareness. I'm like, I've got acid reflux going on, so I've got some pain there. And then I took 3 of my acid, peppermint pills that I have. So I ate those just like I did before we started here. And then I started breathing and releasing the pain. And so she walked in 2 minutes, and my body must have looked different, because she was like, "Are you good?" She tapped me on the hand. I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "So should we take your blood pressure again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she put it on, and she took it, and it was 120 over 80. And she was like,
kidding me.
she's like, "How did you do that?" She's like, "I didn't think that's possible." But yeah, so what I teach people how to do is how to use their body and how to control it, because I've gotten to learn to do that because of the challenges that I've gone through after I broke my back. Yeah.
Yeah, so now let's go back and figure out how you got to there. That is ridiculous that you were able to not ridiculous. It's really cool that you were
Yeah.
able to control your mind and have it modify your body based upon just meditating, right? And a couple of peppermint pills, right? So that's incredible. But let's talk about your back, right? How did you break your back? That is one excruciating problem to have, obviously.
Yeah, it's basically I first time I got hit by a car. So I got hit by a car when I was actually heading to the hardware store. We're going to go to a Brian Setzer concert later that night. I'm like, oh, I think I've got a little bit of time to make it to the store. I'm at the light. I look up. There's a big long line of cars, and there's a lady still coming at me pretty fast.
Uh-oh.
And I let off my brakes and tapped my brakes to let her know. And all of a sudden, she looks up, slams her brakes on. Her car pitches down. She stops just like inches from me. I'm like, oh, phew, great. The light turns
Uh-oh.
green, 30 or 40 cars. We make it all the way to 2 cars in front of me. It's red. I look up again and she's coming and she's not, she's looking behind her. And this time I'm doing the same thing, but I don't have much space between me. And she slams on her brakes, slides up and hits me.
Oh
So
no.
she totaled her car. I had a Ford Explorer.
Right.
So she did like $1,500 damage though to the back of my car with her just front thing. But even at the time, my car was drivable. I wanted to go to that thing. I play soccer 3 times a week. I'm like, I actually got out of the car and was like, hey, ma'am, are you okay?
Ah,
I
right.
literally was like, because I saw her like looking behind and I was worried about her. I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what was going on? That was like twice. And
Yeah,
she's
exactly. How do you do that?
like, what were you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was taking my parents' cat home and I didn't have or it got out of the cat carrier. And so her cat was running around in the back of her car, right? And she was trying to get it back in and it hit me. So
Oh
I
my gosh.
felt bad for her. No big deal. But I told my buddy, I'm like, we're going to go to the concert. We'll see you guys there. I'm okay. But he happens to also be a lawyer. He's like a music guy. And
Right.
he said, hey, are you sure you're okay? Because you got hit from behind. And usually people really get hurt. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm okay. I play soccer 3 times a week. And I'm like, and I give him a hard time and tell him, like, yeah, it's because you're a lawyer.
Exactly. He
You're like,
knows all about that,
you
right?
want me to sue him? Or he's no, he's just like telling you. Of course, the next day I wake up, I'm in massive pain. I end up going to a physical therapy place. I do like 12 sessions. It doesn't recover. I end up getting another 12 sessions. So I have 24 total sessions.
Wow.
I get recovered. I'm able to do what I was able to do. And then I went hunting with my father-in-law and 2 of the other son-in-laws. So I was married to the oldest daughter that he had, and he had 4 daughters. And this is a place called Hell's Roaring, Montana.
Oh wow.
Hell's Roaring Outfitters, a world company,
Yeah.
and they're still in business. And he and I would go out. They'd pair you off and you go out early in the morning. It was like pitch black out, so we'd get up at 4:30 or 5, eat, and then get on the horses they had ready and go out. They'd pre-spotted like newer, different packs or herds were. And so we ride for an hour or so till you get to where the one should be. We top this mountain and we spot 80 or so elk. And this kid's, oh,
Wow.
and he's like, you see those elk? He's like, I'm pretty sure there's a bull in there. He's like, but they're going to see us. So we need to run down there and we're going to cut them off because they're going to go to the Yellowstone. They're going to go to the park and then they're safe. Like, we can't shoot them there. We can't go there. And I'm like, oh, those guys are smart. This is my first time here. And I'm like, okay, you can go. And my father-in-law's, you can go. And this kid goes, okay, and takes off. My horse takes off. I'm like, holy crap. It's like straight up and down vertical, right? I'm trying to just keep from falling over the head of the horse.
Right.
And so I'm holding on to its mane. And I'm like getting slammed back and forth. And I'm like, but it's pitch dark. You can't see anything except for, I realized within just milliseconds, like every time the horse's hooves are hitting the ground, it's hitting the rocks and the sparks are flying from their horseshoes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so it looks like lighters, like stuff like
Serious?
so dark because you're in the middle of literally there's not another like city for hundreds of miles. So it's everything's super pitch black and it's like any light to your eyes, like amazing. So I'm seeing all this stuff. It's so surreal. I'm in a flow state, right? Which at the time I didn't even know what a flow state was, but I was an athlete. So I was in them all the time. Just didn't know what it was. and I didn't have a word for it. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm like, and it's like when you're surfing, it's like time's just slowed down or dilated, and I'm flying down this mountain, and all of a sudden, as I'm thinking, this is the coolest thing I've ever done, the horse sees there's a path that they warm them up on, apparently, they tell me later. And so it knew where it could go. And so it takes
Oh,
a hard left.
oh,
As I was going like straight down this mountain, it's like somehow like turned and whipped me
oh
off.
no.
And so I went like super fast or even down the mountain and hit and got knocked out, broke my back, L4, L5, T7, T9.
Holy smokes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was super painful. And then even in the process, so this is where I learned that the universe sometimes has things for you. I think we talked about is that and whether you like it or not, sometimes it'll be delivered. Is that I got rear-ended 2 other times by 2 other cars within the next like a year and a half.
After you'd broken your back?
After I'd crushed my back and was already like they started me on opiates immediately that time with Vicodin, and within less than 3 years, I was on up to 1,000 milligrams of morphine a
Ooh.
day. And doctors, I looked and see if I could get surgery because my dad has a condition for his back, and he's actually gotten a titanium cage and
Oh,
has
wow.
screws and stuff. And he's strong as heck because he's 86 and he still doesn't take pain medicine or anything for it. In
Wow.
fact, once I was addicted, part of one of my stories, he actually drove 4 hours when my car had broken down and brought me some of the pain medicine because he only took like for 2 days after he'd gotten his titanium cage,
Oh,
like
wow.
his second surgery, because his first doctor actually did this cage, right, and messed it up, and so they
Oh,
had to
no.
redo it.
Redo it?
Yeah.
Oh, ouch. Can't
So,
imagine that. I'll have to say and admit, I hurt my back, but well, obviously nowhere near what this is, but it was little, just really stupid. I was riding a mountain bike and with my daughter, and we were just goofing off because we'd already done the hard ride. And it was just at the end of the ride, and I hit this little stump on the front, and I was going to do a wheelie. I'm like, oh, I do them all the time. This is easy. And I did a wheelie, and for some reason, I kept going back. And I
oh yeah,
landed straight on my back, right? And I had one of those backpacks on with the biking pack with the water and stuff.
oh
And
yeah,
I landed on my back, and it was just like the worst thing. It was like the pain. I just took my breath away. And I was like, that really hurt. It hurt so much I couldn't even breathe. And I rolled over to my front and just laid there. And I was like, that really hurt. And couldn't move for a minute. My daughter came and was like, are you okay? And I'm just like, no, I'm not. This is just not good. And I ended up, after a few minutes, I got up and I was like, okay, we went. But then that night, I just knew there was something, could tell that there was something wrong. And that morning, lights out. I couldn't even get out of the bed. I
mhm.
couldn't. I was like, and that pain, I've never felt pain like that before. It's like you can't move anything. Your whole body is like when your back is gone, it's like you can't do anything, like nothing. So I'm just empathizing with you, going, I can't imagine what you went through when I didn't even break my back, and it was the most excruciating thing I'd ever felt, and I couldn't even get out of bed. And it's like, how can you not get out of bed? Wow, I can't imagine what you did and what you've been through, and then to get hit by 3 different trucks or 3 different cars to boot is pretty phenomenal. So obviously, it sounds like you've taken a lot of medications, a lot of drugs, and you got addicted to it. Sounds, which is not surprising, right? With all of the pain that you went through, I'm sure they had you on lots of a big dose and for a long time.
Yeah. So they started me on 5 milligrams of Vicodin a day, but like I said, within 3 years, I was on up to 1,000 milligrams of morphine a day. And then after my insurance ran out, I was even on force quit, something that was giving me a hard time on my computer here. Yeah, I was even on heroin,
Oh my gosh.
even up to 2 grams of heroin a day, which most people don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know what that means.
yeah, and
I'm glad I don't know what that
luckily, yeah,
means.
luckily most people don't know what that means, but it's probably like more than 10 times the morphine amount that I was on. So
Oh, geez.
yeah, people could do like 1/20th of that snort it, and they would die.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was like in even like when at one time what fentanyl is,
Yeah.
uh, like the super strong one, that
Mm.
was what I needed to actually kill my pain. And this guy that was getting me the drugs when I was trying to find a way to get off of opiates, had come out to California,
Right.
had legal cannabis, had just started. And this kid, but I didn't know anyone here. I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to get caught. So I found a guy that could go get things for me. And that
Uh,
was one of the things he found was fentanyl. And they called it white China. And it's really strong. I don't want you to die. Like, I want to make sure, but I think this might be like, because everything else he brought me, I'm like, it's not strong enough. It doesn't work. And the problem is opiates only have about a 2-hour half-life.
oh my
So
gosh.
you're on just like Vicodin or morphine or whatever, basically 2 hours after you take it, it's 50% as effective. And at
Okay.
4 hours, it's 25% about right as effective. And then at 6 hours, it's then 12%.
Oh my gosh.
You
So then
can't
you
take
gotta
anything
take it
until
again.
8. It takes till 8. So then you got to wait another 2 hours, which the whole time is only at 6% of dosage, but you're still in the same amount of pain you were in before, right? And your body also, if you take the opiates any sooner than 8 hours, it actually then says, okay, you're trying to mask this pain. You obviously don't understand that you're hurt. And I'm going to make more pain receptor cells so that you can stop hurting yourself because you're obviously unaware. So that's how people quickly get into the addicted
Oh wow.
point where their body needs more, but it's still not even working. So that's why the slope's so slippery and goes so quick for people. And I would literally like shoot 2 grams of heroin and then be able to get up and work for 2 hours. So
Wow.
even there were times when drug dealers would be seeing me for the first time and I would do that. And they'd be like, this guy's a cop. What's going on with him? Because they were like, no human could do that. But I was just the opposite. So if I went without it for too long, my body didn't go through the withdrawals that normal people went through. It would start to go into shock
Oh
because
wow.
it's just like I got hit by the car again.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
force again. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's brutal. So you went through a really trying time. How long did it take once you got to that point to get wean yourself off of that? I guess that would take a long time.
Yeah. That's actually, I put myself in the hospital like 5 times.
Did you
Uh,
really?
yeah, because I would go cold turkey. I lost custody of my triplets.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, that was the only thing that mattered was I wanted to get back to be with them, to also be able to get back to my life because basically you're stuck in a cycle where you can't do pretty much anything but
Yeah. I can
out
imagine.
pain relief. And yeah, that's when I would just basically like the third day, my heart rate would be like 200, my blood pressure would be 200 over 200, and I would end up in the and they'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I would explain, "I'm doing this. I need to get my kids." And they'd be like, "You're going to kill yourself.
Right.
Literally have a heart attack or a stroke." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. I'm tough. My kids are important." They're like, "No, you don't understand. This is like physiological thing that you're going to cause to happen." But I luckily found a doctor that could help me and had helped other military guys and football players and happened to have gone to the two colleges that I went to, my undergraduate, my graduate school.
Yep.
And so he went to one for his doctor's degree, was where I went for my business school at Indiana University. And
Okay.
so yeah, I just luckily found the right person that could, because otherwise that was still before the Purdue Pharma thing had been found out. And so most people didn't even know how hard it was to get off of opiates, let alone that basically my doctor had essentially like a passion project. He only had 40 people that he could have in this thing. I think total at the time, if you wanted to do it as that was your only business as a doctor, you'd only have 200 patients. And so you're never going to make enough money from 200 total patients to pay for a practice. Uh,
Okay.
and so he had it, he was an ER doctor. He could only take 40 patients at a time, but it takes someone 2 years or a year to get off with the transition medicine. So
Okay.
basically, it only takes a new person like once every month to 3 or 4 months.
Because of that. Yeah.
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 So
Wow.
I was really blessed to find him. And then also, it normally takes a long time, but I was able to, since my drive was good, I was able to get off of it in 4 months, but that just meant that I had
Wow.
to deal with a lot more pain. So he would prescribe like cortisol pills because as you're going into a stress shock state. And so your cortisol levels always peaked, and that's not good for your body. And so he'd give me meds that would help drop the cortisol level
Gosh.
that I
What
was
a
meditating.
what
And
a roller
yeah,
coaster ride, right? I was like,
yeah,
holy smokes. And then they're just managing your roller coaster, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And they don't even, that's where he didn't have anything besides here's the cortisol and here's another prescription, but he didn't even know to recommend meditation. I basically just started listening to like chakra healing frequencies and different stuff like that because I was real into music. The company that paid for my master's degree was an audio video company that I worked for 5 years. So I think I shared with you earlier, I got to do the first time alignment systems in the country for like Alpine Car Audio, Pioneer Optical Digital Reference. And so I understood music
Oh,
and
cool.
what made me feel. And then in the process of doing those things, I was talking to some guy online and telling him, I'm like, yeah, man, it's so weird. I can walk because at first all I could do was walk. I weighed 100 more pounds than I do now. My
Okay.
kidneys failure, pneumonia 5 times in a year. Uh,
Wow.
had
Your body was just a mess, right? With
ripped up hair.
all those
Yeah.
drugs in it.
Well,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
that was weird. Thank God that I was addicted to opiates because if I wouldn't have gotten addicted to opiates, I wouldn't have figured out how to get off of opiates. And then I wouldn't have figured out that I was addicted to acid reflux medicine, which was slowly killing me for 20 plus years.
Wow.
That company's been sued for it. They've lost it and they still sell it over the counter. So it's like, you know, those kinds of things amaze me. The
Yeah. Yeah. What company is that? I gotta make sure I don't take any of that.
purple pills, Nexium and Prilosec, omeprazole.
Okay.
Basically, what it is it stops your body from producing acid.
Oh,
Your body
wow.
needs to have acid and bile to digest food and
Right.
in the right amounts. And if you continually tell it, don't produce this acid, and also it's a specific kind of like acid, it's not the whole profile of acids, is what I found out later. And also, then it changes based on your body and your other body biochemical kind of things that are going on, right? Your body's pretty adaptable. And
Right.
that's, I don't know, the art too of what I figured out is then I could activate certain things as I was doing this. That's when I started meditating. I found that I could get certain information and I was trying to explain it to my friends and actually go back to the flow. So I was telling them, I'm like, I'm walking, I'm doing these little breakdance moves. The pain will just go away. I'm like, it's the weirdest thing. People look at me weird, right? Earbuds in. I'm like, I don't really care what they think. And I'm like, I'm out of pain for a while, and it's really cool. It lasts for a minute or two. And he's, oh, dude, yeah, that's a flow state. And I'm like, a what? He's kind of like the zone. I'm like the zone, like sports. He's like, yeah, it's like that. And I'm like, so he told me that there's these guys, Jamie Wheel and Stephen Kotler, that had a thing called the Flow Genome Project, and they had YouTube videos. But this time they still hadn't done their camps or any of that stuff. But I ended up
Okay.
actually getting to work or go to one of their camps and then work with the top doctor that they had at that camp. He's still a good friend of mine, but he helped me figure out like DNA nutrition and other things that we worked on. So
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So you went from this drug addicted body and then you ended up, sounds like, researching on your own the meditation, and then that started helping you get, and that you found this doctor, thank goodness, thank God that you went through that, that he's helping you navigate through your ups and downs as you're going through it. And then you're trying to figure out a way to heal yourself, and you found meditation as a way to do it. And then through that process, sounds like you're just educating yourself more and more on all natural ways to be healthy. Is that accurate?
that is 100%, 111%
There you
accurate.
go.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So then obviously you've done a lot since then. How many years ago was that you went through that?
My injury was in 2006. My
Okay.
triplets were just 3 years old. They'll be turning 21 next.
Wow.
But it was in 2013 that I started like coming out to California.
Yeah.
And it was not until 2015 that I actually found the doctor that could
Okay.
help off of opiates. And so since then, I've been not using any pharmaceutical medication of any kind and have figured out a lot of different nutraceuticals and different, I've worked with lots of different companies and now I have my own supplement line even as well as other companies that I partner with. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's just an amazing journey that to get there. How is your spine today? Have you done any surgeries with it? Or is like, are you, no, not at all, huh?
And
Just
I,
living with it the way it is.
yeah, in
Yeah.
fact, my fiance met me just like 8 years ago. Um,
Okay.
I still had a hump like this on my back, kind of like a hunchback.
Oh, right.
Like it was, my bones were that way, but also the muscles were so contracted and whatnot. That's how it was just like in this contracted
Muscles
state.
are kind of protecting yourself or protecting your body.
And so I've worked with different trainings and therapists and stuff. So I use something called muscle activation techniques. I've worked with a guy named Noah Pyre for the whole time. So I see him like twice a week. One of the guys that trained him developed a technique where you breathe low oxygen. So you do a hypoxic state and,
Okay.
and do that, and then lift weights. And so that helps grow new, not only muscles, but new like neuro connections and
Neural
tissue.
pathways. Okay.
So basically what you do is you starve that a muscle for oxygen. And so it grows new blood vessels down into it. And then since you're cycling on and off of it, then it roots those. And so as you go through that process, as you're lifting weights right now for that set or that period, you're actually not only just building muscle, but you're also building new connections for your neural pathways and whatnot. Yeah, I've
Interesting.
just
What
employed a
do they
lot.
call that?
That's muscle activation techniques.
Okay, nice, nice. Because I just went to a naturopathic doctor and he put me on this. I can't remember the name of the machine, but it was really cool. I had an oxygen mask on, and I was on a bike, and was sitting on the bike, and everything. They put cold presses on my back and on my arms, on my legs. Then I'm using the bike, and then did a program where it would make me rest and then go fast, and I had to keep within this zone, and then it was changing my oxygen levels based upon where I was in the program. So basically, they were telling me after the fact that's like they're training my body to be really low on oxygen and then recover. So you go through a recovery process, and it just helps your capillaries use your oxygen more efficiently. So I guess it's supposed to expand your capillaries in just a relatively short period of time by doing this cold compress exercise process with reduced oxygen levels. I was just like, this is so cool. So it's so fun to
Right.
see
Yeah, I haven't
the
seen that. I'd love to
advancements
actually
in
what is that
it's
called?
I can't. I have to remember the name of the bike.
Okay.
I can't. It was a. I'll look it up for you. It's a really cool
I do another
process.
test as a baseline test with my supplement in my trifecta training system that basically it's like a resting heart rate and then an active heart rate test on either a bike or a treadmill, uh,
Okay.
similar to what they do if you're a NFL athlete or you're going for a life insurance
Right.
policy. They're actually the easiest way to figure out what your true metabolic rate is and
Yep.
how healthy you are for your age. And also with the program that I use for that one, it tells the nutritional profile, workout profile, and everything that you should follow for the next 3 months to get to what goals that you're looking to get. And then we combine that with our other testing. So we do not just DNA testing, but also, as I was talking to you about, we do poop, pee, plasma, breath test. In fact, the doctor from the Flow Genome Project and I, Dr. Ben Kaplan Singer, we would do these SIBO tests, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth tests.
Okay.
So you've heard of people that have candida growth.
Yep.
It can be something that really causes a problem with their stomach and their microbiome. And so that was a challenge that I had. About how we found it out was they give you like this little thing. You have to fast all night, and then you get these vials and a breathing thing, and you have to
Okay.
breathe into this thing and then push this vial. It looks like a Star Trek thing, and it costs like $600 or $800 each time we do this test.
Holy smokes.
You do it like once every 3 months. But now I work with a tool that I found 5 years ago when I was out there. I think I told you I was went out there for Shaka Khan's nephew to
Uh,
look at the venue, and they had that uh, technology in Vegas. So they were actually doing DNA-based nutrition, and I find out about like how that functioned, and so
right.
that's one of the things that I have in my training as well. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, just look while we were chatting, I looked up what's called a Vasper, VASPER device. So it's a full big machine that's a complicated thing, but it's really fun to see those types of things. You know, just the holistic practitioner process is fascinating to see how many things that you can do holistically instead of taking medication, right? And the cool thing from your perspective is you went the whole cycle, right? You went from being totally addicted to big pharma pain medication and drugs, and then on your own, you saved your life more than likely by getting off of those drugs, and then having, even though you are in pain, which it sucks that you are still in pain, but you've learned how to live your life and function in a holistic way. And then now you've done an amazing job of taking that and like, how do you help other people? How to creating a supplement company and looking at these other techniques to help people so they don't have to go through the trials and tribulations that you did. That's amazing. So tell me about the process of creating the supplement line. What made you drove you to do that? Was that something you wanted to do, or is it something you stumbled upon? How did that come about?
That's actually a good question. So no, I did not plan on having a supplement line ever. And I actually got into it because when I started working on the nutrition for myself to fix the challenge for my gut health, as well,
Uh-huh.
the things that I found out input to your body determine like how it feels and also how it reacts and how it then changes biochemically. So like detoxification things I found out I was having challenges with, those kinds of things are all diet based. So if you don't put the right things in and you continue to have the improper, like clean food, your body can't detoxify itself because it's
Right.
based on a bunch of filters. And if you're keeping them clogged or you're making them work the whole time, you need to run like clean stuff through them for a period of time so it can get all that gunk out. That's what I found too, is that the body's pretty magical and that there are some specific things that if you just give it the right stuff and do the right things, like it just works. It does miracles by the minute if you just give it the right stuff. But
That's
part of
so
the mindset, yeah.
No, I love it. In fact, I like to talk about that God gave us an incredibly complex body, and but He gave us everything on this earth that we need. If we can find the right nutrients and the right things, and we feed it what is there naturally, your body can do amazing things. It can. God made our bodies to heal, so if you give it the right setup and you give it the right things, it can do its job without external interference. It's just absolutely incredible when you realize that, because we live in this environment right now where our food's being compromised, our water's being compromised, our air's being compromised. Everything's being compromised. It's really hard to find good food and good nutrients but you have to do your due diligence to find those, because it's like really impactful if you don't. And if you keep eating the like that Super Size Me show many years ago, if you keep supersizing yourself on McDonald's, it's not going to work. It's just doesn't give you the nutrients you need. Yeah, it just sounds like you've gone down that road, and with your gut health. And a number of I've done this podcast for quite a while, and it's really fun because probably 9 out of 10 people I talk to talk about the gut, because the
Oh,
gut health is so important. If you can't cure your gut, then it's really hard to cure anything else. And so gut health is so important. And like you said, I've worked with a company called Global Healing. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're a large supplement company, but Dr. Edward Group is an amazing practitioner, and he gave me some liver cleansing
yeah.
and processes. And so I started learning through that. And it's like, when you start learning that, it's like, oh, so you've been through this all, which is really cool. So you learned how to help with your gut health. And then did you create your own supplements to get you through that? Or how did the actual say, okay, ding, ding,
Yeah.
I'm going to create my own supplements?
Yeah. Well, basically what happened is I went to Vegas. When I was there was a company that was premiering their first DNA nutrition company in the country.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so they had the owner, their top doctors. The program been around for 10 years. So in one iteration, they'd even worked for like Shaquille O'Neal and some other athletes. And so they'd had this long history of how they'd done it. And they were just like now bringing it, they're going, okay, now I think that everybody's ready for it. Everybody's understanding it. We've got more knowledge. And now we've got a technology. They actually had a way to actually manufacture in small batches custom nutrition. And it's
Right.
one of the big things that was a problem too, is like, how do you actually create a genetic based nutrition that's specific for Rob and Jamie and Sally and Betty and have all of them be unique?
Right.
Um, and so they were able to do that. And yeah, I got to work with that company. And unfortunately, they had the first doctor based program also, which I got to work with, but
Okay.
they shut it down. Another company bought it, and they changed what they were doing with it. And yeah, basically, I had no company to get what I wanted to get. Even one of the magical ingredients that had like frankincense, astaxanthin, and cat's claw wasn't in there. And yeah, so basically I went and started looking for different supplements, seeing how I could find what I could use. I'd already worked with several different companies, and I just decided that I was going to also I started looking at testing. And
Right.
one of the companies that I found, they have a testing system. They just work with doctors and chiropractors. And so I was able to actually have my own formulations and then have another manufacturing facility that just makes custom formulations. So I was able to even do the DNA type setup. So I was able to actually do a lot of things that no one else is able to do, relationships that I had. And so I was like, everybody needs this. I know how to do it. And so that's how I've gotten into all these things that I'm in right now. The software company that I made was because the ones that we were using weren't working. And I'd done that before, but I was literally trying to hire other agencies to do it because I didn't want to do that. I want to do what I'm doing.
Right.
Right. Like that was my last life. This is my new life. I want to do this. But that was how I ended up creating a software system for influencers and coaches so that they could share what they're doing with the world. So yeah, it's been
Right.
a
Right.
cool
Oh,
journey because it's just like
you're a
one
man of many talents.
together. Uh,
I love it. So you've got the supplement company that you're doing. You've got a software company you're helping influencers, et cetera. What else do you do? Holy smokes.
yeah, my supplements are called Flowfuel.pro.
Okay.
So it's flow, like the flow state, fuel, like what you put in your body, and then .pro because we're professionals. And then
Nice.
same thing for Bioflow.pro. So Bioflow.pro is made with a meditation, and that's the trifecta training system. So basically a bunch of different biofeedback and bio going to say biomechanics, bioanalytics, anything that I can get data from. So like Aura rings, whoop straps, Apple watches, the devices that I meditate with. So like portable EEG monitors, heart rate coherence devices, even like the bed that I sleep on, 8 sleep mattress that actually not only takes your heart rate variability, but it learns how you sleep and what your normal timing is to get into your deep sleep and your REM. And then it chills the bed down even a couple degrees as soon as you're supposed to be going into that state to make you get there faster and quicker and deeper. So yeah, just using different things like that because one of the things that I found is sleep is the most important thing
It
for
is
your
so
body
important.
recovery. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to rest and in order to recover. And it's not only
Yeah.
just sleep rest, but it's just body rest as well. But if you don't sleep, then it's your body doesn't recover. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So bioflow.pro. And the other one was
Fuel.pro.
you. Yeah, there we go. And
But
then how about your software? How do people find your software?
the software is AI2market.com.
Okay.
That's a tool that we created for the techno geeks that know how to do it themselves. And then that has our QR code system in it for affiliates. So they can do affiliate marketing if that's what they do with their businesses, which is a lot of what we do too. A lot of the coaches that we work with or people that we work with want to start sharing their knowledge, but
Right.
they have enough knowledge to have programs and practices. And so we have those kinds of things that they can share. And then my fiance is actually an International Coaching Federation certified coach
Oh,
and
cool.
certifies people. We have a program with the University of Puerto Rico, which is the only US based Spanish speaking university. And people can actually get their International Coaching Federation and get college credits at that through us. But we created the m2market.us. So that's M, the number 2,
Okay.
market, and m2mercado.us for
Okay.
the Spanish version. So we have the Spanish on the back end because what we found is some of her coaches and clients, when they went to use our tools, even though we put everything in there that's populated in social media in Spanish and our team's bilingual, they still couldn't read it or do certain things on the back end because it's still in English.
Oh,
And so we ended up changing that to Spanish too. And we've got an onboarding team that's bilingual. So yeah, it's a pretty cool system to be able to help coaches and influencers that want to reach the world without
right.
having to spend a lot of money on the products that let them get connected to everything.
I love it. I don't think between you and your, is it fiance or spouse or is it
A fiance. So
Okay, and between
it,
you and your fiance, I don't think you're doing enough. Come on, let's find another business for you to do. That's amazing. So it's awesome that you've got so many things going on, and that you're obviously helping a ton of people through it. How long have you been doing the health, the like supplement stuff?
supplements are actually real new. We just
Okay.
launched those maybe 4 months ago.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
Uh,
got 15 products, mostly for the gut microbiome and for immunity and building up that through your gut. And then a couple of female products. I've got something for like it's actually vagina microbiome. So it's actually specific microbiome stuff that help with female health. And then one
nice.
hot flash support. So my
There you go.
is 50. So
That's
basically
important.
for
That's
my friends
important.
and family that I know I can make is what I've been doing. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
I'll bet. I'll bet.
yeah,
How did you launch your supplement business?
basically that's what we're using as we build.
You used your software to launch it?
Yeah, to do it. And also that's what we gave us a great way to test it, as well as some of the clients that we had with our coaching and business. Glenda's had, I think, over 1,000, maybe now, clients that she's had, uh,
Nice.
that she's been coaching for a long time.
That's amazing. I really appreciate you taking so much time with me. This has been fascinating. It's so fun to learn that. What a crazy story, right? You went from being hit by a car 3 times and falling off a horse and crushing your back to being addicted to opioids or to pain meds, and then recovering through all natural mechanisms. That's just such an amazing process that you've been through. And then you've not only done recovered, but you've created solutions to help other people. So that's real. Our lives are very similar with what we've done, and so it's just what a pleasure to meet you. And I really appreciate you taking the time. And I look forward to just collaborating with you in the future. I think there's a lot of stuff we can do together.
Yeah, me too, Rob. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you having me on here
You
and
bet.
all the things that you're doing for everybody.
Yeah, let's help people get pain-free naturally and faithfully, as I call it. With that, we're going to sign off from the I Am Pain-Free podcast. I'll make sure that we have all of his links in the show notes, so you can get to those websites and check them out. So do so. With that, signing off from the I Am Pain-Free podcast.
Talk to you soon. Bye,
Bye.
Rob.
As many of you know, my focus at the I Am Pain-Free podcast is help as many people get pain-free as possible. And we strive to use all natural and alternative therapies to accomplish that goal. Well, today I'm thrilled to introduce to you a revolutionary product that aligns perfectly with our mission of natural health and well-being. It's called Exodus by Exodus Strong. At Exodus Strong, their mission is to help you break free from the grip of Big Pharma and embrace natural solutions that promote vibrant health. With a foundation rooted in the wisdom of the Bible, the all-natural supplement harnesses the power of 7 key ingredients specifically mentioned in the scriptures. The flagship product Exodus is designed to be transformational, providing benefits such as energy enhancement, stress relief, blood sugar stabilization, pain relief, and anti-inflammation. So join the movement, right, to help them get 1 million new people to read the Bible every day and transform their health naturally. When you purchase Exodus, use code IAPF at checkout to receive a special free gift with your order. It's time to exit the old you and step into a new chapter of vitality and well-being. To get there, you go to exodusstrong.com. So it's Exodus, EXODUS, and check out and use that IAPF for the I Am Pain Free podcast. And then you'll experience the benefits of the Exodus mineral blend. This mineral blend is amazing. It's got the molecular hydrogen generating formula that's backed by hundreds of scientific studies. So begin your journey feeling great and looking great. Don't miss the opportunity to take control of your health with the all natural way. So go check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it.